Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Academy at Home. So today I decided to do one of my new favorite characters, which is the child, or otherwise known as Baby Yoda. It's like a universal agreement that was his name. Alright, so I decided to just kind of invent my own cartoon version of him from sketching and using the reference from the show. Okay, so hopefully you like him, and here we go. Okay, so for Baby Yoda, we're going to start with his head shape, which is like an egg or a sideways oval or an ellipse, however you'd like to call it. And we're going to place that right here in the center of our paper. Okay, so rather large, just like so. Remember to leave room for his ears because they are pretty big. Okay, and draw lightly. For this, we're going to then divide his face right down the middle, so then we know our placement for his features. And then divide almost at the center, but a little bit below it, right across, so we know where his eyes are going to sit. Okay, for here, for his eyes, we want to draw 2 circles so we know the placement, but his eyes are not circled shape. They are like a teardrop, basically. But we're going to use those circles to kind of guide us on drawing that shape. So the first circle goes here, right on the line, a little bit below, a little toward the center, and the other one a little further out across that line, like so. And then we're going to use the bottom here up to that line, where we're going to stop right here for that corner teardrop, and then go right on the outside and mimic the top and bring it down all the way. So remember to point that corner, because that's a very distinct eye shape for him. And then the same thing on the other side. Remember to use your guidelines to know where his features go and their shapes, especially if you're drawing things that are the same. Okay, just like that. And then he has like an arch kind of feature right on the top, but to the side and not exactly all the way down, that connects to his eye. This is like where his eyebrow would be, or his eyelid maybe, on either side, like so. And then we can worry about darkening that later. Okay, for his nose goes right in here, right in between his eyes. And they're a little bit shaped like parentheses, so right on that line we can draw one parenthesis, and then we can draw another one right next to it, and then a little squiggle right below it to give an illusion of that nose shape. And then for his mouth, that goes right directly below it, but we're only going to draw a line right now to mark it, because when we draw the rest of his features, we'll be able to really tell where his lips are going to be. Okay? And then right outside of his eyes is a little bit of that eye socket, so we can just draw like a little triangle, just like that. Okay? So for his ears, we are going to move down here first to draw a guide to then point us where his ears are going to start and set. So for his mug, we're going to draw an ellipse, a very, very thin one, right here, rather large, almost taking up the entire bottom section. And remember, he brings it up to close to his mouth, so we can draw that right above that circle line that we drew at the bottom. And then for here, we need to draw where his coat or his robe falls. So on both corners, we're going to draw a mark and then bring that up just at an angle like this to go across his cheek, and then horizontally and bring it down a little. Later we'll be able to tell where this falls as well. And then the same thing this way, right across his cheek, has large clothes on, I think, which adds to that adorable feature. And that's for the top of his robe. Okay, from here we can move on to the ears. So his ears are going to fall behind his head and behind this area. So that's what we needed to be able to draw where that finish was going to be. So right directly above, where this corner meets the cheek and this corner meets the cheek, we are going to mark where that first ear starts. Okay, you can use your finger to mark that, or you can use your pencil to mark that. And then his ears come across horizontally, not exactly perked up like that. I'm going to keep them fairly large, and then bring that down right behind his robe. And the same thing directly across, directly up, right where that meets. They're almost horizontal, a little bit at an angle if anything. You can measure how big you want to make those. If you want them the same, you can take your ears to measure them. And they don't have to be perfect because afterwards when we darken the lines, we're going to add some curve in there. Okay? So after this, we're going to start darkening some lines a little bit. Okay, now that we have that, his cheeks are going to be a little bit different, just to give it more of an organic feel, like the way we did here. We curved a little bit of that corner there and there. And then we can start right where this corner meets that cheek area that we drew for that first circle. And we're going to just simply bring it up a bit of a tighter angle, just like so. And then from here, bring it out a little and curve it up and bring it straight into that corner, like so. And this one I want to round out a little more and bring it a little bit higher. But I want to then start this area just the same, round it and then bring it into that corner. Make him look a little more luminous and organic, like so. And then for his mouth shape, he has a little bit of a frown, but a very small mouth actually. So we're going to draw a little bit of a frown or an upside down smile just in the middle like this, and then bring it outward like so. Looks like he's smiling a little bit. And that scene looks like a little bit of a smirk as well. And then we can darken those lines as well. For his eyes, we're going to blacken them, with the shade afterward, but he does have a little bit of a glare right in the upper center area. So we're going to draw what would look like two little crescents, or perhaps a little Pac-Man facing outward. And that's going to remain white or really light. And then when we shade that later, we're going to go around that. So we can darken around there. Okay, let's go ahead and continue with the rest of his body. So let's begin with filling out that rest of that mug. So from the outsides, we just bring it down, keep it kind of short, and then form that box, just like so. For his fingers, they're going to be different on both sides. So on this side, we're going to do 3 circles to represent 3 of his fingers, or his whole hand maybe, as it was. And one is going to be placed there, the other right across, and the other one right below. And then on this side, it's going to be one across down here, and the other a little bit slanted, like so. And then we jump back this way and draw a line that comes down. And then we're going to form somewhat of a diamond shape, just to give the illusion of his little arm. You don't have to connect up there. And then on this side, somewhat the same diamond shape, and then connect that like so. And for his sleeves, he has rather large sleeves, like a really big robe. So draw a circle right around, and then starting from up here, draw another misshapen circle just to give some raggedy design. And then from up here, we can come down and connect that line to the rest of his sleeve, so he looks a little fancy. Actually, let's bring it like this, and then bring it down. And we can fix that afterwards. And then this is going to be a little bit of just a waterfall, so you can bring it down like this, and then his sleeve like this, and like that. Simple. Don't have to make it symmetrical because then it looks morphic. And then we can go ahead and start darkening some lines. So remember, we are going to connect these fingers. They're not going to be individual circles anymore. And you can make them a little pointy as well to mimic his design. Okay, so let's go for darkening lines. Okay, so now for the end, we are going to shade. And since I did change down here how I wanted this to be, to look, I'm going to blend that in with the shading. So when I do my lines, they're gonna be fairly loose lines. This is going to blend in so you can't really see that mistake. Well, mistake that I claim it to be, but to be honest, with drawing, any mistake can add character. So let's begin with his eyes. So remember that crescent is going to stay either white or just very lightly shaded, but he does have black eyes, and that's going to be a little bit darker right on the inside. Okay. Okay, so you can add any shading that you want. You can color him, you can make him look a little bit more, you know, smiley or frowny depending on the design you give him. So he's completely yours, but this is the design that I went with. And so we're done. So don't forget to sign your piece and date. Okay, and we're done. Okay, so there we have him, cartoon Baby Yoda. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.